before we begin this video, we have a giveaway for Chew, Moondrop shoe. You can win one of 5 Moondrop shoe. Actually, we're giving away a total of 5 units today. If you want to know how to enter a giveaway, just follow the link below. Also, you have to be subscribed to this channel, of course. 3 IEMs to test out today. We have the Muse Hifi, the Power Planar. We have another Planar, the P1 Max by Tin Hifi. And of course, the Chew, the Moondrop Chew, the $20 hype beast that has been going around the community or the market for about a week or 2 now. Finally got my hands on it. So let's start with this one. Let's start with the Chew because I'm excited for it too. You guys are excited for it too. Let's jump into it. Hey friends, Timmy here back with another video on Giz Audio. And today we had the Moondrop Chew and the other 2 IEMs I just mentioned. We're gonna be doing first impressions today, and the dab of choice is gonna be the M3X from Channeling. So let's crack into the Chew. So here's the box for the Chew. We have the waifu, of course, always with Moondrop. The back has a graph, very simple packaging, honestly, and I like it that way. Simple, straightforward, nothing too fancy. Focus on the products, right? Keep the cost down. I don't know what I'm talking about. I quite like the design on these IEMs actually. They're very simple, kind of understated, almost reminds me of like an Aria color scheme. I think it is the Aria color scheme. Very, very comfortable, fits extremely nicely. They're super small, uber light. And the song of choice today is gonna be called Closer by the Chainsmokers. A lot of you guys probably know that song. Very famous song. I really like it. I think it's a really nice song. So let's test out the Chew. Oh man, I don't like being late to the hype train because I feel like I'm just gonna say a lot of the stuff that other people already said, but just buy the thing. It's $20. I don't wanna say too much because it's first impressions, right? It can change. I need to test it out a lot more. I'm gonna do a review of this probably extremely soon because it's a very simple to understand IEM. It has a sub-bass focus leading into a very clean, separated mid-range and a nicely energized upper mids and a decent treble area. All in all, it's a neutral tune IEM that has the bass and mid-range part done extremely well, and the treble area as well is also nice. Not groundbreaking treble, but very nice treble for, especially for the price that it's at. Sounds great. Tuning wise, exceptional, just great. It sounds natural. Is punchy when it needs to be, and the vocals are so clear as anything under $100 can bring, really. The only thing I guess I can nitpick about this is gonna be the overall sound stage. It's not as wide as you would like, but it's $20, you know? You don't expect extremely wide sound stage because that would literally be market breaking if it can do everything. If it's tuned well, also has wide stage and great imaging, then it would be completely market breaking at $20. Well, honestly, just now that I think about it, just on sheer tuning alone, it is already kind of market breaking. $20, very well built as well. That's also another nice bonus. Extremely well built, sounds fantastic, and yeah, it's technically not as bad as any other IEMs under $50 as well. It competes well with anything under 100. I would say it falls slightly bit short of the Aria in terms of the overall stage, imaging, and details. But tuning wise, I prefer this tuning than the Aria because the Aria is a Harman tune IEM. It has a mid bass that is very punchy and thumpy. Some of you guys like that, some of you guys may not like that. For me, I prefer a more sub-bass focus, which this is, and the Aria again is more mid-bass. So I prefer the tuning of this, but it is short of the Aria in terms of details. It's a clear difference there. So yeah, not quite the Aria, but it is $50 cheaper than the Aria. It's $20 and it sounds fantastic. That's all I have to say about it as of right now. Next, let's go with the newcomer, the Muse Hifi. Now, I've not heard anything from Muse Hifi before. It is a planar IEM, which if you guys have noticed have been the trend and the hype as of late, ever since the Timeless came out. The S12 followed and the planar market just boomed. We have this now, we have the P1 Max, we have another one called the Hook something, the Raptor. I also bought that one. That one's not here yet, but you guys will hear my thoughts on that one as well. But yeah, many planars coming out. So, let's see here what we have inside. Just the IEM and the case. But yeah, the IEM actually looks rather nice. It is a big boy though. Wow, that's a big IEM. It is light though, very light, but it's huge, probably the biggest. Wow, just, hey, hopefully it sounds good. Hopefully the size and the sound quality comes together. They're definitely, they're big, but there's no sharp edges on them, so they don't hurt in any way. Just trying to get the best seal right now, which is, you know, it's a little bit of a struggle. I think depends on how big your ears are. These may or may not be a struggle for you. The cable though, ooh, these are fancy looking cable. They're so pretty. I actually want to steal this cable to use with like my other IEMs just because of how pretty they are. I really love these cables. All right, so some things I really like. Some things I don't like so much, but all in all, great, especially for the price, $200. So first things first, this thing's technical ability is really good. I wouldn't want to say it's timeless level good, but it's good. It's up there with some of the most resolving IEMs under $200. I would say it's on par with something like the S12, maybe a little bit less than the S12. Again, I don't want to say too much right now, but it feels to me like it competes well with the range of price that it's at. In terms of tuning, I like how the bass is done. I like how the treble is done. It definitely feels more like a V shape than anything else, because the vocals to me, and that's the part that I don't really like so much, is that the vocals or the mid-range in general comes across a bit, I wouldn't say recessed, but it's not the most natural feeling. I think it has to do again with the tuning and also with the timbre. This thing definitely has a planar kind of timbre to it. Now, if you guys don't know what that is, you guys might not even recognize it. But for those of you that knows what a planar timbre can sound like, this thing has that. And in the mid-range is the most apparent area where that takes precedence. So the bass is really good. The mid-range is, for me, okay, it's good, not really my favorite. The treble is somewhat of a standout. It has quite a bit of micro nuances in this song, much more than on the shoe, that's for sure. Coming off of the shoe, this one feels a lot more resolving, both in the stage being wider and also the amount of details coming in to the IEMs or into your ears. It is a good IEM. For $200, I think is well worth it IEM just off a first impression. I can't wait to test this out alongside the S12 and the Timeless to really see where it stands. So yeah, stay tuned for that in the full review. Time for P1 Max. Now, I've tried the original P1, I own that. The P1 Plus, I did a review of that. It is an improvement over the original P1. Now we have the P1 Max with the pandas on them. See if this is an improvement over the P1 Plus or not. I think my biggest complaint with the P1 Plus and the P1 in general is the tuning is quite flat, I guess. It's kind of like there's not a lot of contrast and it can come across a bit boring. But for those of you who love a true neutral, I guess you would go for something like that. But for me, I want a bit of contrast, maybe a bit of energy, maybe a bit of bass. So hopefully this one can deliver a nice bit of change. All right, first off, this thing looks extremely different from the P1 and the P1 Plus, just from the shell shape alone, the looks. It just looks like a whole different IEM that doesn't really belong in the same line. So hopefully the internals have been changed quite a bit as well. Seems like it might have been, but we'll see. I have a confession to make. I was listening to about 2 songs of the P1 Max. I like it. There's something about it just speaks to like the mid-range vocal lover that I am. The overall timbre of it is a natural feeling timbre, which is extremely surprising because it's a planar IEM, and planar half the time have that planar timbre, that kind of near metallic-ness. But this one doesn't. This one just sounds very natural in a timbre era, which is, it's a nice, you know, it's a nice listen. The male vocals, female vocals, the mid-range itself comes across almost as a bit of, almost as a centerpiece, if you will, alongside the very nice bass. And the bass leading into mid-range is very smooth, although I feel there's a slight bit of warmth, if anything, there. But overall, it's not a detriment to the mid-range in any way. It actually adds this kind of musicality to the whole thing. Now I wish there was a little bit more energy in the upper mid-range maybe to really separate it from the other elements in the song or the other elements in the frequency range. But all in all, it sounds great. Just good, great. In terms of details, I would say it is, I would say a mid-tier detail. I would say around the aria, around the Starfield level of details. I wouldn't say it goes beyond that as of right now, at least. All in all, I think is a great IEM. I think it's around $170. $170 is a great IEM so far, and I definitely pick this over the original P1 or the P1 Plus any day of the week. This is a far cry from those guys. But does it compete with the S12, which is also in the same price bracket? That's yet to be seen. So I still need to A/B test those guys. So far, I think I prefer the S12 more, but that's just based off of memory. We'll do testing and full review later on in the week or in the month. But yeah, overall right now, really enjoy the P1, and for Planar, the timbre is very exceptional. All right, that's it for all three IEMs. So far, I like all of them. It's one of those rare occasions where I like everything in a first impression for once. All these three IEMs are ones to look out for sure. But if you're gonna buy one right now, go for the Chew. It's literally $20. It's cheaper than a large pizza. Just go grab one. Sounds fantastic. You won't regret a dime of that $20. So just get the Chew. But for the Planars, I would say wait for more full reviews of those Planars to decide which one you want to go for, because a lot of them live in a very similar price range. So yeah, wait for those. And with that being said, see you guys in the next one. Peace.